There we are. We are live.
Wow.
Probably get a snapshot of me before I remembered. Oh, I should look up and.
I know. I'm sitting here like this.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't put 101 on his. And I was just looking at my post from LinkedIn this morning. It's got 11001 impressions.
I'm a first-time caller.
Well, you know what the binars say.
And then they get blown up.
Yes. Well, no, they
Do
don't.
they? Hmm.
But they showed shrapnel from ships.
See, I was telling you. What was I saying the other day? I don't know.
All is not as it seems.
Well, it's a V'ger tie-in. He's just scanning.
Did someone say scanning?
Yeah. Oh, Davey's back. Or listener Diane.
Oh. Hey, listen to Diane.
She says,
it's that YouTube alert.
I'm back. There you go.
I'm front. All right. You ready?
Let's make some podcasting history.
Or do this show, whichever, either one.
I'll settle for just doing the show.
Yeah. This is the first time this show's been done in a podcast form.
This is the very first Star Trek podcast ever.
Yes.
Today, this hour.
This moment.
There's probably 6 others being recorded now.
I think that's fair enough to say, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
5, 4, 3, 2.
This is The Topic is Trek, episode 147 for Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. Coming up in this episode, Prodigy comes in for a landing. We recap New York Comic-Con. There are romance bargains to be had. All that and more right now on The Topic is Trek. Badgies? We don't need no stinking badgies. Welcome to The Topic is Trek, the podcast that runs on impulse power. Join us for a journey where no show has gone before. If it has to do with Star Trek, there's a good chance we'll talk about it sooner or later, because on this show, the topic is Trek. Engage already. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of The Topic is Trek, because we're not recording on a Thursday, scheduling this and that and the other things. I was working at a haunted house over the weekend and
take that Paramount.
Bunch of crazy. Yeah, we're up in the game here by doing a different day. So there, yeah. But we're all set to go. We're going to be talking about not 1, not 2, but 3 new episodes of Star Trek, as well as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about some a recap of New York Comic-Con and a couple of other fun things. And so, first of all, in order to be a co-host, I have to welcome in my other hosts. So first, beaming in to join us from parts unknown with the hip new catchphrase that even Choo 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 wants to sing about, it's Mr. Craig Stepp.
How you doing?
Yeah. Oh, the crickets have arrived. I guess not. So it needs a little bit of a rework.
Yeah.
Apologies
to the Friends cast.
And hopefully
that was supposed to be Friends. I thought it was Joe Pesci.
What's his name?
It wasn't Joe Pesci. It was Joey. There we go.
Yeah, Joey from Friends. Yeah, that's right.
Joey, whatever the difference.
Oh,
now we have to be very careful, because apparently beaming in also to join us is Mr. Chuck Tomasi, but he's in the same transporter pad as crickets. So who knows?
You get them all mixed up.
Oh, great! Now we got another episode with 2 things stuck together in the transporter.
I like baseball.
Yes, exactly. Before we start the regular show, I thought, because I scour the internet for all these news stories and I run across lots of weird things, I wanted to mention, and we'll have a link to it in the show notes, that I found the other day a complete history of the scant from Star Trek.
Oh,
That's
it's
a very
funny. I was
Complete
just looking at that.
history.
Yep.
Someone
Complete
did their
history.
doctoral thesis on this, I suspect.
It's a documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
4
5-part.
parts.
Yeah,
4 parts, hour long each.
narrating by Ken Burns too. It's
Ken Burns doesn't narrate. Peter
Wow, he's-
Coyote does the narration.
He's scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I've done everything else. My ham sandwich is next, so please.
Ken Burns documentary. Scant.
So again, we'll have a link to that. Just it's a fun little thing. It's more than you ever want to know about that piece of clothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to be doing a couple of reviews, and we're going to take a break from that. We'll do our subspace chatter, and then we'll do one more review. So we have a lot to get through. Let's start right off with our main mission, part 1. And what have we got there, Chuck?
We have our part 5, episode 5 of Very Short Treks. This one's called Walk, Don't Run. Premiered on October 4th, 2023. And the writing and directing credits for Very Short Treks have been, well, inconsistent. So we'll skip them for now.
Could not find out who wrote it.
Really?
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Here's the short synopsis. Ensign, yes. Prior to the promotion, one Pip Devon attendee attempts to honor the 50th anniversary of Star Trek the Animated Series on the bridge of the animated series Starship Enterprise. But a poor choice of words, which we've seen backfire before, sets off a battle between animation eras. Can music save the day?
So I don't know about you guys, but I was worried when this first started.
Exactly. It was falling into the same pattern that you mentioned last time. I was like,
Yeah.
they hit a note and they keep hitting that
Hey,
note. But
Hey,
then,
get a note.
Yes.
Yeah, but also it was the same thing as the very first one where it was a misunderstanding of a phrase,
right.
right? Like down to that exact same thing. Oh no, don't.
I
Yeah.
was thinking the same thing. Like,
Right.
oh, Clinton, you shouldn't have said anything. But they did
Yeah.
recover. They did
Mhm.
recover. It was
Yeah.
nice to see.
I was thinking the same thing as well. I was like, oh, great. We're going to fall in that trope or rut or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And they pulled it out.
I mean, they even one of the things differently that they did is actually some animation in there, which I know a celebration of animation,
Mhm.
but when they're having the argument and they talk about the, well, you had an orgy in your holodeck, and they take off their somehow Emrys is able to get off. Well, I guess it's a skill some people have,
Mhm.
That she could take off her bra without taking off her uniform, and
I've
she's
seen women do that like a magic trick. It's like,
yeah.
That's
So
what they did. My girls used to call that the magic way.
and she's right there and gets that done. Eric's and Scotty are letting their freak fly there as well, and Tendy's very, very uncomfortable with this whole situation, and rightly so, I would think.
I got your torpedo for you right here, lassie.
No.
Actually, he said, I got your orgy party for you right here. As he unbuckles his pants.
Yeah.
But I thought, a photon torpedo might be more appropriate.
And then we get well, not a surprise appearance because we don't know who's going to be showing up here in the first place, but we get Riker and Sulu showing up.
I guess by default, it was also a surprise, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Sulu was in the other episode, but he only had like one line.
Right.
Ooh.
And Riker is,
Yeah.
this is the third one
I
that
think so.
Riker's in. He was in the very first one.
He
was in the Too Many
one.
Holodecks, right?
Mhm.
So he's a veteran as well. He beat out Ethan Peck
Yeah.
by having 3.
Check out these abs.
Right.
Oh, and Tendi was in 2 of them as well. She was in last week's as well as this week's.
Yep.
Yeah.
So some people and Emrys.
She was in the first one with Kirk when he was
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
your fish to fry, your skin a cat.
Yes.
Skin a cat.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. There's more than one way to skin a cat. What?
And I really enjoyed. I can't remember if I was commenting on the time, but I really enjoyed the actress's interpretation of the voice that obviously Majel did in the original series for Emrys or Mares.
And who did Scotty?
The person who did Scotty is the same person who did the admiral who was in charge of the Texas class ships in lower decks. The
Okay.
Oh,
big
yeah.
blown up at the end
Yeah.
of yeah. He that actor did that voice.
Okay. He did a good job.
Yeah. Of course, you have um Jimmy Doohan's son going, I could have I'm right here. I could have
Right.
done
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
can work for cheap.
We've seen him. Actually, we've seen him. Obviously in the fan film, the fan series.
Right. So then we have a combination musical number montage going on, which I thought was I felt like this was a good way to end this series by actually focusing directly on the animated series.
Yeah.
Um, because we have a whole ton of different short clips
Hmm.
from the animated series itself, as well as having several of the characters from the series in this episode. And the song was cute. Somebody said that it's nothing, not as good as any of the stuff that was in, Subspace Rhapsody, but
Oh
it was
yeah.
catchy
It
enough,
wasn't
and it was
meant to be. It was meant to be a kind of a '70s thing.
right.
It even had, like, that crazy animation around Riker when he's playing the bone, with the kinda layered effect.
Hmm.
That was fun. That's what it was supposed to be.
I had a thought. Looking at um the screen grabs you got of all the different episodes. I had thought about this before. Is Star Wars? They had on Disney Plus. They did the Star Wars Visions, where they had all these animation
Hmm.
shops in
Hmm.
Japan do their own take on Star Wars, and some of them were, you could see the lightsabers, but they were more in a samurai kind of look, and there was different elements that they kind of changed things up. I would have loved to actually seen, instead of just these five in the same style, mixed it up and had other people with their take on Star Trek. I think that could have been fun too.
Yeah, I think it comes down to how much of a budget did this really get? Because essentially
Mhm.
these are 5 promos that just happen to be longer than a minute, right?
Yeah,
For lower at the end credit shows Lower Decks and Star Trek the Animated Series as things to watch on Paramount Plus. So um I don't know if they would have the time or the budget to be farming out to a bunch of different shops.
right.
I do know that with the sudden, I wouldn't say sudden popularity, that's the wrong way to say it, but with the rising popularity perhaps of anime, I know that Rick and Morty is also doing um,
Yeah.
a version that has more of an anime style. So I wouldn't put it out of, you know, I would expect that Star Trek might do something like that at some
But
point as well.
but didn't they? There was at one point I remember seeing a drawing of Kirk. It was like a concept for an animation style Star Trek. It's been several years ago now, but I was but all that kind of made me think it'd be cool. Setting logistics aside, I'm just saying I think it would be a cool project to see some different takes on Star Trek as well.
Well, we let's quickly, if we're done talking about this one, of course,
Yeah,
to
fine,
rate
we're
it.
done. I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
yeah, we're done. I wanted to rate it, but I didn't want if anybody had additional thoughts about it besides that Tendy calling Scotty hot, and it became very weird at that point. And
Yeah,
uh,
it's time to beam out of here.
so I'd said to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 omis. I'm changing that. Let's rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 post mainframe acid Cardassian 10 forward core charts. How
There
about
we
that?
go.
There we
I just
go.
noticed, I didn't notice this after watching it a couple times, but I just noticed with this collage you've got, that the video clips they were doing all the quick rapid succession in that montage are on the main viewer screen. I
Yeah,
thought they were just being flashed up in our face.
yeah. It's
Mhm.
like it's weird because there are a few that aren't. Not the one in the
Ah,
first column that's the rec room, because that's when they're having the discussion back and forth about the rec room.
right.
But um, like the shot of McCoy that's in the top of the third column, that's also in with that mix of stuff, and Spock with the Klingons. So a few of them weren't for some reason. I don't know why, but all the other ones were definitely on the view screen.
That's funny.
All right, so let's start. Let's start with me since I'm on the top here to make it
Yeah, go
easier
ahead.
for me to remember. Uh, I've got to figure out what I'm going to rate this one. I think I'm going to give this one, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to give this one, I gave this one a 9. I'd say one of the reasons I want to give this one a 9 is because it was nice to have it end on this note of actually honoring the original series. It goes kind of off the rails for Tendi to begin with, but we say this is what it's supposed to be about. This is what we're doing. Then everybody's like joining in. We get a lot of clips. We get to see the the newer animation working with the older animation and the same. So I felt like it was a really, I wouldn't want to have seen 5 of these, but I felt like it was a really good way to cap off all of this. And I think that they in essence, they stuck the landing on this one. That knowing where we started off could have gone many ways,
Yeah.
but I felt they really stuck the landing on this one. So I'm going to give it a 9. What about you, Chuck?
I'm going to give it an 8. I did think it was very fun, but the starting was rough. I'm like, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah.
I feel like a better start would have made this a 9 or even a 10.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Craig?
I'm gonna go. I'm teetering on that 9, but I'm gonna say 8.5. I thought
Okay.
it was a good episode, and it was. I thought it was a little bit of improvement from the other ones we've seen.
Well, it was certainly better than
Yes.
Worst Contact.
I wasn't going to bring that one up, but yes, it is. Which is the least of these.
Yeah,
You
if
know,
we
there
had to
was
rank them, that one's the
That was pretty rank.
the
Yeah.
Cybok episode.
Yeah. And by the way, relating to very short treks, I think with the last one here, they actually put out a not a behind the scenes, but it was like an
Yep.
interview thing
Mhm.
that and the guy they talk about the inspiration for a little bit more.
Yeah, we have I believe we have a link to that in
Oh,
the
did you?
show notes.
Okay.
I did at one point, so hopefully it's still there. If
Yeah,
it's not,
if it's not there, you
Yep.
can easily
Okay.
find it. So
Okay. So before we move on to our next main mission, I thought I would say, do you guys have any, and I'm going to put up the entire list here, overall, because this may be the one and only, since it was promo, really, this may be the one and only season of very short treks. And I know that we've talked a bit about, oh, it would have been nice if, do you have any overall impressions you want to give very short treks in its perhaps one and only season of 5? Okay.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was creative. There were a few good laughs. There were a few, oh my gosh, that shouldn't be on air ever again moments.
Yeah.
And whether you are new to the series, new to Star Trek universe, I thought there was some fun in it, or you're a longtime veteran like we are. It had some fun to it. So I enjoyed it overall.
Yeah. As somebody that I'm sure, I don't know about you two specifically, I'm sure Clinton, I grew up watching this because this was in my wheelhouse at the time. And I think this was fun in itself, except for that Worst Contact. That was just a waste of talent and time. But for the most part, I think the whole thing was fun to see, and I'm glad they made it. I'd be down for watching if it wasn't like a gross episode or something, or blatantly adult. I wouldn't mind watching an episode, a full length episode, done like this.
Yeah, it's interesting that they said in that documentary that you were talking about, Craig, that they actually did 10 scripts for this, and that they chose 5 of them to do it. I'm thinking, okay,
Ooh.
you chose Worst Contact over something
Over
else.
what? Yeah.
Wait, I don't know if we want to know the other 5. I'm not sure. Maybe that was the best out of the other
Who
5.
made that decision and why? I want some explanations.
Well, one had a Mogatu doing karaoke. That
Oh
didn't
yes,
work.
well,
But I can watch this another a full length episode or a season of decent episodes. Not just very short treks. Just
yeah. To me, it's and if they keep it with animation, that's one thing. But it's one of the things that I miss is that experimentation that we would have with short treks.
Mhm.
And that's gone now. Now it's just series. It's a series or nothing. So this was really the only time recently we've had this kind of experimenting with, well, let's push the envelope here and see if anything happens. I was going to say throw it on the wall and see if it sticks, but man, with worse contact, I'm not
Yeah,
doing that.
no, 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 no.
So
I'll stick to pushing envelopes.
yeah.
I do want to add that I did love the intro each time I saw it, with the wobbly music a little bit and having the old animated Enterprise flying around. I thought that was kind of fun to see.
Right.
Or the title card with the planet.
Yeah.
Yep. And that same, not quite right, theme music, because even Star Trek didn't want to play Star Trek for using the rights to Alexander
I
Courage.
know. I thought that was funny. The original the TAS actually had different music. It was like Star Trek like, not Star Trek.
Yep.
Well, much like our podcast here, we have
Sorta
Star Trek
weird.
like music.
Bum, 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 ba-dum. Yeah.
We can't afford the rights to that, even though it's probably like $1.50. But
Yeah.
and
Right.
all right. So let's have an appropriate sound effect, which I forgot to ask for main mission part 2.
Command functions are offline.
Oh, great. My
well, I'm not
Wi-Fi's
gonna be able-
down.
All right. We will soldier on as best we can then. So
right.
Craig, do you want to tell us a bit about our main mission part 2?
All right. So this is we're moving into lower decks mode. Season 4, episode 6, in Parth Ferengi's Heart Place. It came out on the 12th, October 12th. It's written by Cullen Crawford, who is a producer on Lower Decks. This is the first script for the show. Previous works of his include being an executive story editor for TV series Paradise PD, a story editor for Hulu streaming series MODOK, and a writer for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And it was directed by Brandon Williams. And Brandon Williams, this is his first directing credit. Previously, Williams has been a storyboard artist on Mike McMahon's Solar Opposites, as well as Lower Decks. Other storyboard artists and credits include Little Demon, Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms, and the 2017 reboot of Wacky Races.
Which I didn't even know was a thing. So
I
Me
did.
neither. And we get it rebooted, just in case.
No. So the short plot synopsis is the Cerritos visit the Ferengi homeworld with the prospect of the Ferengi joining the Federation. Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford are tasked with updating the information on Ferenginar in the Federation's travel guide.
which we now know is a thing. And we didn't know that before.
Travel
Right.
guide.
It used to be known as Fromers. Now it's Boimlers.
I don't think you're going to get much information out of Boimler for that guide.
They're updating the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah. All right. So we've actually got 4 different stories going here. So I think we're going to break this out a bit. But yeah, we start off where we know we've been starting off this season. Is if you start off an episode in kind of the back of some ship with a couple of people talking, like nothing good is going to happen here to these people.
Right.
In this case, these Ferengi. And sure enough, they're having the argument back and forth. We did find out something interesting, though.
There's a portable version of the Genesis device.
Well, besides that, which is, I'm thinking, but the protomatter and stuff, are you sure you want to be doing that? No, we find out that one of these Ferengi apparently had been in touch with whatever the ship is, because he said they said they would be prophets. And he goes, aha, I know what you were working with. So we know that whatever is in there is something that can communicate, right off the bat, even before we know stuff to the end of this episode, or the end of the next episode, I should say. But so that was the little drop of information that we got at the same time.
I thought that Genesis device was funny because it's too soon. I just watched Wrath of Khan.
Well, when I saw that small version of it, I thought, wow, the tiny home movement's kind of gone into the Starfleet.
Only keep those things you love. We have to toss this one out.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
actually, I'm surprised. I'm surprised the Genesis device wasn't in the Cerritos archive room with all the other weird stuff.
I know. I know.
Yeah. That's right.
Well,
storage locker.
Especially when some of those other things were clearly blown up as well. So it's kind of weird. All right, let's start. The first of our 4 things going on here
Mhm.
is there's apparently a request by Grand Nagus Ram
Yeah.
to join the Federation. And so we have Admiral, what was this? Vassery, who we've seen at least once before. He's there in the USS Toronto because he's going to be leading these negotiations, which he thinks are going to be no big deal at all. And Freeman is there kind of to be a witness. It's unclear even why she's there because he's not taking a single bit of her advice about anything.
Right. He's
Well,
dismissing everything.
Um,
Hey,
and
hey, by the
she's
way, that
yep.
little screenshot you got with that wavy line behind him looks
Mhm.
like they're on a cruise ship. That's
That
what
was my first thought. That was my first thought. It's like a
Voyager of
Carnival
the
cruise ship.
Seas.
it's the Sea Princess.
That's
Oh, love Starship. Yeah, I think we're getting a case of all right, either a evil admiral or an incompetent admiral, and
hmm.
because he's clearly has no clue about what's going on. He's done no research at all into the Ferengi, feeling like, oh, I don't have to because Rom and Lita, they're changing everything around, and it's just going to be this cakewalk. We're just going to get this done, and be out of here
Yeah.
in a half an hour.
I think overconfident or what's the right word? Not overconfident, but
Oh, definitely, that is a good word for this. He is
okay,
completely
maybe
Yeah,
okay.
overconfident.
Yeah, because he wasn't really listening to anybody.
bit
Or I
No,
mean,
arrogant.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, arrogant. Figure he
that's
knows.
more of like it. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's up. But we find out that no, he's definitely being played. He's kind of lulled into a false sense of security. When Lita says, "Look, he just wants to have a little bit of say in this," and then they whip out the list of things that they want,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
Freeman is just shaking her head.
Well, it's nice to see, Max and Chase
Hmm.
doing some voice work in this show.
Yeah. And she's I was I don't know even how to place her personality. This is not what I was expecting from her character on Deep Space Nine.
Well, now
Oh,
she's first clerk, so
Yes.
yeah, I know she had her stuff together. Remember, she
Hmm.
formed the first union,
mhm.
That's true. Yeah.
and she was progressive. She stood up for what was right and spoke her voice whenever necessary. So
Hmm.
I see this totally in line with Lita's character.
Okay.
So the one weird thing I thought about this episode is that they're making the admiral jump through all these hoops, just like goading him on and on and on and on, and he's not seeing it. He's denying it. Freeman's even pointing it out. No, 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 nonsense. Blah blah blah. They make him dance. They
Yeah.
they they're they're giving away that the Ferengi can get on any starship they want and take it anytime that they want to. He's just giving everything away, and we get then Freeman is the one who is able to turn things around,
Yeah.
right? So my question though about all that is, well, they were on Deep Space Nine for years. They saw pretty much the way the Federation worked. Why did they have to make this happen? Because they worked with Cisco and everybody. They kind of had some. They went through the wars together. They kind of knew what the Federation was about.
I think this I didn't find it that surprising. I think this was a fun test. It would be no different than, if the Klingons wanted to join the Federation, you would have to do it their way and have battle and glory and honor
Pain
and
sticks.
right,
Yeah.
the whole thing. So
I hate that negotiating process with the Klingons.
I think it was a little obtuse for us not to recognize it. I mean, obviously Freeman knew what was going on, and she said, "Hey, we got to play their game their way if we want them to join our federation, not just keep giving into demand after demand."
Hmm.
So I don't know that we've been in this situation before. Yes, the Ferengi know how the Federation works, and maybe they said, "Let's see if they do it our way, eh,
Hmm.
so they respect our culture."
I
How
see. So they saw how the Federation did things for themselves, but
right.
how do they treat the Ferenginar?
Yeah.
Well,
That
you know
was
what
my
else is? I'll tell you something that I thought was funny was when I started watching this episode, I had to pause it for a second and think, no, I guess I don't know. I never questioned that the Ferengi were not part of United Federation of Planets.
Ah,
It didn't cross my mind before because they were, in Deep Space Nine. I didn't think about them, in that
They were
way.
negotiating for the Barzan wormhole, the whole deal. They were there the whole time.
Yeah.
hmm.
So
All
I just
right.
didn't think about them not being part of the Federation.
So yeah, Freeman is able to throw in a little clause at the bottom, the fine print, and they don't read the fine print.
You have to get another planet to join.
Didn't say which one.
They didn't say which one.
And we find out that it's Kronos, and it's like that what?
Yeah. Hey, wait.
There you go. You got to play the Klingons their game. Someone's getting the pain sticks. I thought it was rather humorous because when Lita was talking, all I could picture was Chase Masterson on the cruise every time.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's like, there she is at the karaoke party. There she is snorkeling with us.
She's swimming with the dolphins again.
And then Max, he's either on stage singing or we saw him I think it was at Chase's charity event one year. Oh, this is fun.
So one thing that I noticed is we talk more about this in a minute, but kind of cross promotion going on in the scene in the on the Toronto. They put out a spread of food, and they put out this wooden Enterprise plate. It's like you can buy those.
Yeah. Product placement.
That's something you can
That's
actually
funny.
get right now. All right, so let's move on to
Surprised they didn't put a QR code on the screen.
exactly. All right, let's move on to we got to figure out what's going on with Mariner, and we actually don't even figure that out by the end of the episode. But I don't know. Were you guys kind of bummed that she seemed to be kind of regressing back to old Mariner at this point?
Yeah, I thought we were over that hill.
Yeah. Well, that's the second time we've said that,
Right, and
or third.
well, I was hoping that now that things seem to be smoothed out, and we talked about this last time, and I think I get the impression that it's supposed to be the issue is that she has nothing to rebel against, and it's uncomfortable for her, perhaps, that having everything nice just is unsettling
Yeah.
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what her situation was last time.
And then Boimler is going to be going on this because they're charged with doing this, updating the Traveler's Guide, the Federation Traveler's Guide to Ferenginar.
That's a thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to read that book. When's that going to come up from Pocket Books or something?
It's going to be coming out with Scotty's Haynes manual for the Enterprise.
And we also have then Tendi and Rutherford are tasked with pretending to be a couple because they're going to be updating the guide on these special packages that they have on the planet for couples, for newlyweds, and special discounts and all these type of things. And they're all excited about doing it because this should be fun. We kind of be like play acting, and this is going to be great fun for us. And we find out not necessarily so much.
When Mariner was on her shtick, getting in bar fights and whatnot, she had what I'm sure will be yet another hat to spot on the cruise.
Yes. The
The
backwards Ferengi head with
the
the
Ferengi head with the 2 beer can things on it.
Yes.
Like, someone is working on that right now.
Oh, you can be absolutely sure of that. You can be sure of that. And we get another look at lovely Ferenginar. With the first shot, looks very familiar because it's the city in rain. It's the same kind of deal we saw on Deep Space Nine. But then we get to see a lot of close-ups of all these different establishments that are there.
What did he say? I can't wait to haggle at the casino and then gamble at the haggler.
Yes.
Yeah. Loeb's Lodge.
Uncle Quark's.
Yeah.
So very full of little Easter egg stuff going on in all
Yes.
those shots.
Drink Sluggo Cola.
Yes. So Tendi and Rutherford, they want out. They want out of this. They realize that this is probably a bad thing, and it's too late.
Too late, because the couple at
Yeah.
the table next door got found out, and
Yeah.
they got sent to the underwater sulfur mines or something. It was not
Yeah.
a good place that you wanna go.
Right, but they tried to bail a couple of times. Like this is when they're in the lobby, they realize as they're waiting in line to register, they want to bail, and they find themselves at the
They
front.
almost did it.
These two are getting a great deal, which is like, do you know what it means to get a great deal on
Yeah.
Ferenginar? So there was like, well, okay, I guess we're in it at this point.
Yep.
And poor Boimler, he's checking in, and he's getting
Gets
trapped now.
drawn into junk TV.
Yeah.
Now, before he gets drawn into it, I want to point out that not only do we have the Paramount logo behind him on the wall, which gets called out,
Yes.
but the television set is the CBS Eye.
Oh yeah. Good eye. That's a good eye, Clinton.
I thought that was a leftover from, like, the Cardassian Deep Space Nine architecture.
Well, it kind of looks like something out of The Prisoner, but that is definitely the CBS Eye. So you've got both of them like staring at each other across the room. Yeah, and he gets trapped in a world of bad Ferengi television.
Was it Dar and Bach
Yes.
Yeah.
apartment landlord cops or something?
Yeah. That's right.
I
It
swear it
was
was only
so
20
bad.
pounds when I brought him in.
That was hilarious.
And then they keep sticking product placement ads in there.
Yeah.
What? You can have commercials in a show, right in the show?
Yeah.
Like, these are nothing but lies.
Yeah. That's right. And you see Boimler's face you got at the bottom there. It was
Yeah,
been
he
watching
goes in
way too much
way
TV.
deep,
He's
way
strung out.
deep.
And he's only been there for like 8 hours.
No.
yeah.
Clearly hasn't built up his tolerance.
Yeah, he starts to watch and then he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna go out now," and he gets caught again. He goes, "Well, I guess I can continue watching just to help other people avoid this." He crosses off everything else on his list, and he's just gonna sit there drinking the Sluggo and the Sluggo chips, I believe, that he also has in a bag next to him. He's got all the algae he'll ever need in his system right now,
Yeah.
which is totally awesome, I guess. I don't know.
Good for you. Good source of
And-
vitamin C.
So we want to get back to things just get more and more awkward for Tendi and Rutherford, and you begin to feel really bad for them because they're made up. They put on these fancy clothes for some photo shoot, and then they're supposed to be putting on other clothing for their photo shoot, and they go running the heck out of there.
Look, I like how her green face is blushing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how
Red.
does that work exactly?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, did you see what was on the wall? Well, go back.
Yep.
Oh, the hearts and the Ferengi.
Koala. Looks like
No,
a koala.
No, I
No,
don't.
they're-
That's what I thought.
no, those
first. Yours are wrong.
Yeah, it's a male and a female Ferengi.
I know, but it looks like the koala.
It does. It
Koala
absolutely
does make an appearance in the next episode. We'll get there.
Right. What I like is, and I'm sure you guys love this as well, is where they run to. Whoops, I got the wrong one up here. Let me get back here. Oh,
Doop.
did I lose the
Doop.
slide? Hope I didn't lose the slide someplace. in
Doop.
here. There we go.
Yeah.
To
I recognize
Quarks.
this place.
Yeah.
We've
The
been there.
first-
Federation
Experience.
experience.
They did a great job with this. Well, I feel like we're at home, sort of.
Yeah, when I saw that, I went, "Oh, that is so funny." They're calling back to that.
I mean, down to the point that they have Voyager and the Enterprise D hanging from the ceiling. And I put in a shot that I took from Star Trek The Experience, and it's the same two ships.
Yep, that's right.
So this was full of little Easter eggs. I don't remember if I ended up with, did I end up keeping a screenshot? They have things in there like the Jeffries tube entrance in there. You've got a Guardian of Forever over in a corner.
Oh yeah.
Magatu.
Magatu is there.
Magutu.
Yeah, a Magutu.
Mogatu.
Yeah. All of them. are there. So yeah, it was a lot of fun just to relive some memories with that one. But yeah, that's when they try to bail again, and that's when they see what happens to that other couple who are trying to bail. It's not going to be going so well for them because they get sent to the salt mines. And so Tendi and Rutherford have to eat chocolate replicas of each other while saying things they love or like about the other person. And
I
the
like
chairs
your
know if you're
hair.
lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your hair also. Ding.
Yeah.
The sexy chocolate models of each other.
Exactly. They don't know what they're going to do get out of this. And fortunately, Miggly Moo comes along and saves the day, although he doesn't really realize he's doing it.
He almost blows their cover entirely. I
Mhm.
didn't know
Does.
you were married.
Yeah. Look at the Vulcan Ferengi over there. He's got that. What?
Yeah. It's my two favorite platonic friends.
Yes.
Like,
As one would
who
naturally
says
say in
that?
conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
So they pretend that he's broken up their marriage because they're both in love with him, and they go storming off that they're never going to speak to each other again. And so the Ferengi do the logical thing and offer him the Homewrecker special package.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw up twice in my mouth.
Yes.
There's your Jeffrey's tube entrance right there in the back.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got Mariner, and what's up with Mariner? She, whoops, we're off.
Oh,
That's
Charlie
must be
X
Charlie
File.
there. Charlie, come back here.
Read all that subspace chatter.
No, Charlie, not
Yeah.
yet, not yet. So Mariner's off on a tear. She's just looking for a fight. She's drinking up a storm, and she picks a fight with a huge. Didn't realize these existed, but these huge biker type Ferengis,
biker type.
and it doesn't end well for
No.
her or her friend, who we
I love when they're looking at the wall of like Lost Latinum or whatever it is. Wow, you got to give it to the Ferengi. They really stay on brand.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much lost profits because it's a memorial to the Cardassian War, just all the profits that they lost during the war.
Right.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. And we've seen the Ferengi before. The Ferengi was in the episode where Mariner hired him or had him pretend to be this, this Ferengi that was going to get them, robbed, and Boimler kind of saves the day or thinks he's done a good job. So he's returned again for this. I wrote his name down and I can't find it at the moment, but that's okay. Quimp. Quimp is his name. So yes, he says that he doesn't know what's up with her either, and he just wants her to, get herself right. And
Yeah, whatever's eating up inside, you got to figure it out.
yeah, and hopefully she will soon, because we're drumming our fingers here about you got to figure this out. Got to get this taken care of. And I think that's basically it, because at that point we have the signing of the contract, and the SWAT team comes in to rescue Boimler from himself. Again, some huge biker type Ferengis, and I didn't realize that was a thing, but apparently they're a big thing.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
They got to ride their bikes in the rain all the time, which I can't say is a treat, but.
All right. So do we have any additional thoughts on this episode?
What are we rating this on?
What do you want to rate it on?
Sluggo Colas?
Okay.
Yeah,
Sluggo
that'll work.
Colas.
Yeah.
All right. So you start, Chuck.
I am going to give this an 8. Thought it had a lot of great callbacks, a lot of great Easter eggs in it, a lot of fun. It just, there was almost like too much happening, and I didn't really like the regression of Mariner. I thought we were beyond that.
Okay. Fair enough. How about you, Craig?
I'm gonna say an 8 also for the same reason, to be honest with you. Yeah, Mariner was regressing again, and it was like, you think she at least progress some. We're in season 4 by now. So.
I'm hoping they resolve that or give us a good conclusion to that as to why this continues to happen. Don't know.
Oh,
Anti-Ram policy complaints.
note from Gary saying, nice to see more anti-Rom policy complaints. It wasn't just Quark complaining. Indeed. Yeah, I've got a feeling there's a lot of pushback on that. I mean, that comes right on top of the females wearing clothes and everything. So it's like, okay, this is just too much, too fast. Can't deal with all this stuff. I am going to give this one. There was a lot of things I really liked about this episode. I mean, it was completely laugh out loud, even for
Mhm.
Bonnie when we saw Quark's Starfleet experience
Mhm.
in this, which was worth the price of admission by itself,
Yep.
as well as some of the subversive. I love the subversiveness of not calling out the CBS logo, but calling out the Paramount logo.
Right.
Just some fun stuff in there. But overall, Mariner did kind of ding it unless again, I say, unless there's something deep that's behind all this. It just felt like a struggle that didn't need to be a struggle at this point. So I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
It feels like there were so many Easter eggs in here, you have to watch it a number of times and you'll still pick out something new every time.
Oh, I
Oh,
would say that's
speaking
correct.
of which, hey, throw up your slide one more time,
Okay, hold on a second here.
and look at the games at the top. Isn't that Dabo table?
Right, we got the double table sort of
But it
in the
looks
middle of the
like
room.
what's that?
The
That
table that it's
ship?
on, right?
Huh?
The table that it's on is what you're referring to, right?
Yeah, the whole table, everything. It looks like the what is that ship it's in the opening sequence, the fight scene, where they keep changing up all the ships. It looks like one of the ships in there.
Well, that ship was a Ferengi ship. At the oh yeah, that one does look like a Ferengi ship, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The top one, yeah. Well, this definitely was the interiors of things. I think they said, okay, we're going to go with the complete Vegas vibe with it, which is why I think they were able to work in Star Trek: The Experience in
Mhm.
this thing, because it's just a complete Vegas vibe to this.
This
And
would
so
have
you
been
would
a
have,
fun one to been in the writer's room when they were dreaming this up. You know what else we need?
Yeah. Right.
and so yeah, I'm
A title loan office,
That's right.
The guy from Pawn Stars just up the road.
Actually, that would have been funny if Boimler was watching Pawn Stars or something, or some kind of show like that.
And they're trying to get the least possible amount for everything.
Yeah.
How much you give me for this?
It's been 2
Classic
hours and they're negotiating on the
Cardassian-
same. Yeah, they're negotiating on the same thing for 2 hours.
Classic Cardassian rifle.
They
I
should
was
edit
told
it.
I
They
could
did
get-
edit it.
I could get 6 bars of latinum at auction. I'll give you 1.
Yeah, right.
All right, it's time now for some subspace chatter. Well, I'm assuming it's some time for some subspace chatter because,
Yeah.
as you know, we're going to be asking our good friend Charlie. I say that as a good friend Charlie. Yeah, like that's a thing. But we're going to ask Charlie X. Charlie, we all set to do some subspace chatter.
I won't do it again. Please, I'll be good. I won't ever do it again.
I don't believe him.
Oh, that look on his face says, "Oh no, no,
Yeah.
no."
Those cold, steely eyes.
I will never do it.
Oh,
again.
before we go into subspace chatter, I have what I call now it's time for Clinton's trivia rabbit hole segment.
Take us
Okay.
down the hole.
Okay, well,
right anyway.
while researching the research on Parth Ferengi Heart Place, I found out that was a reference. The name was a reference to Garth Marenghi's Dark Place,
I was wondering where they came up with that title. That made absolutely no sense, but keep going.
which was a 2004 British horror parody series, and the show itself was a parody of a 1980s of 1980s television and its tropes. And bonus, on top of that, it featured 2 IT Crowd alums, Richard Iode and Matt Berry, being Matt Berry, as he always is in everything that he does. And so I'm going to put a link to the pilot episode of that series, which is available on YouTube because somebody put it up there.
Yeah.
In the show notes for 147, I got 74, the 147. Badges. We don't need no stinking badgies. So I watch it. It's kind of uneven, and I don't know how long the series lasts. So I wouldn't necessarily say I could recommend watching everything, but it's fun to watch at least one of them. And it was kind of this little rabbit hole I went down to, and I said, "Oh, so there was this show called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. What was that?" And I just kept going and going and going. So
Kudos to you for the deep cut.
Yeah.
indeed. All right, but let's come back from that.
Somebody was going, what rhymes with Ferengi?
Right. Oh, I remember this old show from the 80s.
Okay, so you start us off there, Chuck.
Oh, aren't we kicking Charlie out? No, we just got to Charlie.
Yeah.
No, as much as I'd love to, as much as I would love to.
Well, as we predicted and hoped, Star Trek Prodigy has found a new home. As you recall, after Paramount Plus greenlit a second season of the animated Trek series for children, the show was abruptly canceled and season 1 was removed from the platform.
Boo.
This came as a shock to everyone since CBS Studios had already paid for season 2 and work was nearly done on the 20 episodes. Fans of the show immediately raised their voices in protest. The Save Star Trek Prodigy hashtag. People, you really got to work on these things.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, if they just said Save Prodigy, it was like that old dial-up service thing.
exactly, Eric.
I've got AOL now.
It's like URL shortener where they're using a URL that's longer than the original.
Yeah.
It's fine that it says real words, but it's not helpful. Okay, anyway, the Save Star Trek Prodigy hashtag was a key rallying point, but fans also went as far as to use a GoFundMe campaign to hire a plane flying Save Star Trek Prodigy banner to fly over the Los Angeles offices of Amazon, Hulu, and Apple, and then circle the Netflix Los Angeles offices for 10 minutes. Outstanding. I love it. We love our fellow Trek fans.
That's
Oh,
right.
absolutely. They are awesome. All right, carry on with the story there, Craig.
Okay.
Later it said Save Star Trek Enterprise, but the plane crashed and burned.
Oopsie.
We didn't have money for that hashtag.
Too many letters.
All right. So behind the scenes, the Hagman brothers immediately began working with CBS Studios to find a new home for Prodigy. While Paramount Plus was no longer involved, this was still a viable product, and both the production team and CBS Studios had motivation, to get season 2 in front of the fans, even if it had to be outside of the Paramount global family. And that new home is, I know we already mentioned it, Netflix. So the patron streaming saint of abandoned shows. I know this isn't a good place to put a canceled show, right? All right,
we will discuss that in a moment, I think.
Yeah, so Netflix will be putting up season 1 later this year, with season 2 to come in 2024. There is no official word, as far as we know, on whether season 2 will post all at once, following the binge model Netflix pioneered, or released on a weekly basis as it was on Paramount Plus. As far as we know, the entire production team will remain in place, including Prodigy co-executive producer Aaron Waltke. I'm sorry, I was reading the pronunciation there. Waltke.
And Kurtzman.
Yeah, Kurtzman, as well as that. Kurtzman.
Roddenberry.
Yeah, Eugene Roddenberry and others. So there you go.
And this will be the first time a Trek show has premiered outside the CBS All Access Paramount Plus platform since Discovery aired its pilot episode on CBS in 2017. Now, one huge question is, will the wider reach of Netflix not only give Prodigy a bigger viewership, but entice people to try the other Trek offerings still on Paramount Plus? And I have one other question. Netflix seems to run hot and cold on animation. They go all in, they have lots of shows, and all of a sudden they just go, nope, we're out, and they just kind of like wipe the slate. And so I don't know. One of the questions I have is, are they viewing this as we'll see how it does, and then we'll order a third season if it does well? Or we didn't have to put a lot of investment into this and gets us 20 episodes of something that hasn't been seen before that we can promote and get people to our thing, and then we're done. So I don't have an answer to that, obviously, because they're not going to say, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on how you think this is going to work out for both Prodigy and for Star Trek on Paramount Plus?
Well, I was happy with the announcement, but at the same time, you kind of have to have a John DeSta, like what's going to happen after season 2? They're going to, yeah, we'll go ahead and recancel it. Yeah, I don't know.
A
So
jaundiced eye. I've not heard that before.
Oh, I've heard that.
you haven't heard that
What
before?
does that mean?
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Great description.
Thank you. As long as I don't have to spell it, I can say it. So,
But why would that apply here? Is it an expression to say you can't see very well, or you're partially blind?
hold on. I'm going to
Hey,
get Grammar
to look-
Girl. Hold
to
on.
look
Hold
at
on.
something with with a John DeSta means to look upon something with prejudice, usually with a cynical or negative way.
See, used absolutely correctly. Good work
Okay.
on you, Craig. Good
Yeah,
work.
thank you.
All
I'm
right.
putting that on the calendar.
There you go.
Do what? Put it on the calendar.
Yeah, word today is not working for you.
Oh,
You need to get the Grumpy Cat calendar. That I'm sure that would have that word on it.
yeah. That's
Remember we were just talking about idiot things?
that was Grumpy Cat's shtick.
That's right.
Yeah, it was his own stick.
All right.
All right, let's move on to our next story.
Well, the long argued debate as to whether or not William Shatner wore a toupee while filming the original Star Trek series has finally ended. In a recent memorabilia auction held by Heritage Auctions, lot number 89221 was described as follows. William Shatner, Captain Kirk lace hairpiece from Star Trek the original series, Paramount TV 1966 to 1969, vintage original blonde/brown human hair, hand knotted lace front wig worn by William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk. The wig features all the hallmarks of the most famous starship captain, from the side part to the front curl.
Superman curl.
Truly unique collectible from this iconic series, accompanied by its vintage and original storage form and 9-inch by 7.5-inch by 3-inch Max Factor box, comes with a certificate of authenticity from Heritage Auctions. We were not able to confirm a selling price of the toupee at the time of this recording.
Well, the hairpiece was from the collection of Greg Jean, a longtime master prop maker who extensively worked on Star Trek projects, among others, and was an Uber Trek fan and a collector. Apparently, he's got William Shatner's hair. Recently, he had worked with the Wand Company, allowing them to measure and photograph his original TOS tricorder, as he had done with the company's phaser and communicator replicas. Sadly, Gene passed away in 2022 at the age of 76.
Oh.
So we'll have links to both Captain Kirk hairpiece. I'm laughing about that auction page, as well as a few links on information about Greg Jean, including friend of the show Larry Nemechek, giving some personal stories about Greg. You'll find them both all on the show notes for episode 147. Badgies,
47.
we ain't got no stinking badgies.
How appropriate to have something with Larry, reference to Larry, also with episode 147.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
right. Yeah.
Now, normally we would start off the news with the any information coming out of New York Comic Con's Star Trek Universe panel. But as you may have guessed, with the actors' strike still underway, the announcements were kind of vague. But let's see what actually did and did not happen. Chuck?
I thought we were also going to include a link for the Amazon affiliate's cheese board.
Well, we can try that.
I'll work on that while you're speaking.
Star Trek Lower Decks creator Mike McMahon joined Alex Kurtzman on stage to talk about the show, and fans were treated to an advanced screening of the upcoming episode, Caves. McMahon said that T'Lyn will definitely be part of season 5, which is now in production. He also talked a bit about the basic idea behind Lower Decks, which feeds into the crew's recent promotion, saying Lower Decks is based on being in your 20s, early 30s, you're getting your first jobs, you're meeting your best friends, and you didn't know you were going to meet having new responsibilities, when work is pulling friendships apart. How do friendships survive that moment? If you lose that shared experience, do you still have friendships? And which friendships last past that?
So I thought that was an interesting way of, seeing what the thought process is going on here.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Now there was no news on whether when the fifth and final seasons of Discovery will premiere. Although Kurtzman is still saying it'll be early 2024. The suspicion is that Paramount Plus wants to be able to have the actors do press junkets for the show and is holding back any new material, including new trailers, until they get a guarantee on a premiere date. Until they can guarantee one. Moving on to Strange New Worlds, as we previously mentioned, production was just about to begin when the rug was pulled out from under them on season
Mhm.
3, when the writers and actors strike began. Kurtzman said the production team is gearing back up and getting ready to go once the SAG-AFTRA strike is over.
All right.
After it's over.
After
Ay, 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 ay. We're
Oh
here
boy.
all week.
Yeah.
All right. Rapper Kid Cudi was present at the panel for the announcement of a multi-platform collaboration, Be Bold, Star Trek by Kid Cudi. This includes a new song, Heaven's Galaxy, a line of streetwear, and a Fortnite game starring Kid Cudi called Star Trek Mirror Madness. The
Hmm.
game is, no surprise, set in the Mirror Universe.
I didn't get that from that title.
I know, it's weird. It's weird. So do either of you play Fortnite? Because I would be the sort of person that anybody who's on my team would be like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
Because I just
Yeah.
couldn't do
Why are
anything.
you doing these forward rolls all over the
It
place?
doesn't make any sense. What does that got to do with anything?
I dabbled in it, but I haven't played in a long time.
Nope.
All right. So we probably won't be able to ourselves experience this one because, yeah, I would just, my own team would just be turning on me immediately. So
Yeah. Why are you shooting your phasers at me? Stop it.
Klingon Rite of Ascension.
yeah, there you go. Negotiation time. Kurtzman did take time to congratulate Star Trek Prodigy for finding its new home on Netflix. However, understandably, the time spent on this was brief as Paramount Plus, not Netflix, was the one footing the bill for the panel. Yes, fair enough.
That's
Although
funny.
Kurtzman said,
I
Yeah.
think it's funny him congratulating them on finding a new home after he kicked them out.
Well, he didn't kick him out.
I know.
He's still a producer on the show. Why would he kick him
Yeah.
out? He's doing the show. No, it
Well.
wasn't his decision. Somebody higher up. The suits. It was the suits.
suits.
That suits. Although Kurtzman said that the Star Trek Starfleet Academy writers' room was open, there were no cast announcements or other information.
Mhm.
At this point, we still can't even 100% confirm the series will take place in the 32nd century, even though that is nearly everyone's assumption. The news was also light on Section 31 streaming movie event. Kurtzman did say that Michelle Yeoh is still very committed to getting the project moving. In part, he said, "So we're back on our feet after the strike with Section 31. It is happening. Michelle Yeoh has had one of the most unbelievable years that anyone could ever have had in
Mhm.
history of ever.
Yeah.
And she had a million opportunities to hit the jackpot on it and do other things. And what she did with all of the power she had accrued is make sure that Section 31 is moving forward."
Good for her. Wow. Good for us too.
Good for us.
Yeah. And also missing was an announcement about a Star Trek Legacy series, although Kurtzman did hint that there are other Trek projects in the works. There's
Hmm.
no way they haven't heard the fans on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm absolutely no way.
Yeah.
You don't need a plane flying over Kurtzman's house for
Yeah.
that one.
That's our next GoFundMe. And
It's
last,
one of those trucks that has a sign on the back that goes up and down the Vegas Strip. That's been
Yeah.
driving around his house.
Chippendales.
the
Oh,
picture
Star
of the
Trek Legacy.
strippers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And last, there was no news on a theatrical Star Trek movie, but a panel about Paramount Plus wouldn't be the place for that to happen. Anyway, what?
Clinton, do we have anything from Vulcan, Alberta, Canada for this episode?
Well, we have something because I always like to have something. We don't have anything Star Trek related, but in Vulcan, Alberta, Canada news, We want to send our congratulations to Vulcan's own Taryn Sanderson of the Medicine Hat College Rattlers female golf team. Again, she's a Vulcan native. She has been named the 2023-2024 Alberta College Athletics Conference Female Golf Rookie of the Year.
There you go.
Congratulations, but I think we're really thin on stories when we're
Well, I am doing what I can to keep them alive there. However, even though we don't have more Vulcan Alberta Canada news,
Hey, wait a
I do
minute.
have.
I mean, are they in the travel guide?
That's a good question.
send Boimler.
Yes, and Boimler.
Yeah.
Just look in the hotel room after a couple of hours and you'll
Yeah.
find him.
Sorry, I mean to interrupt you.
That's okay, because just talking about the fact that we have other stories we didn't get to, I have links to 63 additional stories broken out by series, movies, and other categories that you can spend your time going through all those. It's a little bit of everything, including some comments by the one of the heads at Paramount Plus about what their strategy is going forward for stuff. And I can't make heads or tails out of whether or not that means something good or bad for Star Trek. So you read the article, you let me know what's up with that. All right. But now comes one of my favorite parts of the show, and that's where I get to say goodbye, Charlie.
I want to stay.
Nope.
No. Oh, wow.
And stay
Wow. Wow.
Was that
Did
you welding the turbo lift closed?
Gee. You do understand how Charlie works, right? That isn't going to really help. Anyway.
no.
Oh, pardon.
Yeah.
I know you got to call the folks. That's what you got to do. You got to call the folks. All right. Let's begin we have an appropriate sound effect for our third and final main mission.
Program initiated. Enter when ready.
There you go.
All right. And this one is Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 4, Episode 7, A Few Badgies More. Written by, I gave myself this one, Edgar Momplacer.
I'd go with Mom Placer, but okay.
Sure, we'll go with that. And directed by Bob Suarez. And a short plot synopsis is 3 artificial intelligence villagers. Can't rent him. Can't rent him. 3 old joke. 3 artificial intelligence villains, Badgie, Peanut Hamper, and Agamus, return to cause problems for the Cerritos crew.
And don't they?
Because we need more Jeffrey Combs.
Well, you got it.
Yes.
And we
by the way, that picture of Badgie you got up on the screen is disturbing.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
They did a couple of close-ups like that. I was like,
Yeah,
the full
they did.
teeth.
Yeah.
You can hear him saying, "I'm going to burn your heart in a fire," right there right on the screen. The interesting thing about the way this episode starts off is that it almost should say, "Remember back in the last scene of season 1," because that's where essentially this one picks up with them going, picking up the debris from the Pakled battle and picking up Rutherford's visor, his eyepiece,
Yes.
which Badgie is still inside of. And so, mayhem ensues with Badgie. Now, the one thing that happens near the beginning of the episode that I was a bit confused about, and I don't know whether this is on purpose or just me, but after this kind of flashback portion with Badgie, then we go to
The Binars.
the Binars, who we haven't seen since their episode on Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I
That's
think was
right. Yeah.
season 1, I think it was. I mean, it feels like it was like really, really early on in the run of the show.
40 years ago.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a callback there. But so they get attacked by that same ship that's been doing all the damage to all the other ships. And then we see Badgie looking at the view screen from inside the ship. And my first thought was, oh, he's responsible for all this. And at the end of the episode, I go, oh, he wasn't. But I don't know if I was supposed to be confused about that, because Badgie really says, looks like somebody, did something to the binars. We could use this. So I guess I really should have. I don't know. Did you guys think that it was Badgie being responsible at the beginning of the episode?
It crossed my mind, but you talking about the vessel that was
When
that
they
was
came
going,
across the wreck of the binar ship,
yeah.
and yeah,
I don't know. I think it kind of crossed my mind a little bit, but I didn't really think about it too much. I wasn't sure if he had something to do with all that.
I never made a connection, but I
Yeah.
might have just been oblivious to the situation.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's par for the course for you, Chuck.
Well, there's a lot of things that they're trying to tie in, but there's also a lot of things to distract us on this show.
Yeah, yes, lots of
Yeah.
shiny things everywhere.
Yes, there is. Yep.
But while the Cerritos is sent off to investigate the debris from that binar ship, we find out that not everyone is going on that mission. Tendi and Boimler are headed back to the Daystrom Institute because they're going to be. So Tendi is going to the release hearing for Peanut Hamper, and Agamus claims to have
I'm sorry, that
information.
name just makes me laugh every time.
Yes, and Agamus claims to have information about the attack on the binars, which of course no one is buying, and I don't think they really should buy that. But they, he's told by Ransom, we got to at least investigate it to see what the deal is with it. He
Right.
says, yeah, it's a trap. Yeah, I know, but we gotta check it out, because we have very little information about what's going on here. So we got to follow every lead that we have on this. So they're off doing their thing, and we find out that look who's become buddies.
Yeah.
And Agamus, if he works real hard, he can turn his red light blue.
I like how he goes.
Right, he has to grunt for it.
I got a kick out of. I didn't do a capture of this because the details were kind of small. But not only do they show Agamus and Peanut Hamper in this garden area doing their stuff, and Agamus is like, moisture, ha, type of thing going on. But they have that group, that support group, where all the evil computers are, being led through some therapy. But you also see the workout area.
Yeah.
And in the workout area, there's just these computer boxes sitting in front of a weight bench.
Yeah, they're sitting around.
And then there's a basketball court, and they're just sitting in the basketball, and there's a basketball just in the middle of them.
That was hilarious. Just sitting there.
They have all the modern amenities of a prison.
Just no way to utilize them.
Right. It clearly wasn't designed for computers.
Clearly.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, but these two are scheming because Agamus definitely wants out, and he's going to use, what a surprise, he's going to use Boimler to get him out.
Yeah.
And Peanut Hamper is going to fake this, I'm I feel so guilty about what I've done to people thing, and get herself out. And then they're going to meet up together and, go on a rampage someplace. And that's the plan. So we don't get to see Peanut Hamper's hearing. We don't get to actually hear this impassioned speech that she's worked up, but we do get to see Artemis and Boimler. And Boimler just, good on him. This is where I feel like he's at least got a bit of growth. He's not buying a single bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Of what
actually, I liked his attitude. He's like, I've outsmarted you before.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, you're a genius.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a genius, all right. I actually outsmarted
He's
you
got
twice.
Agamus strapped to the chair or in the shuttle.
And
He can't
Agamus
go anywhere anyway. Why do you need to strap him down?
And Agamus, is being so polite. He compliments him and getting his promotion, and everything. And it's just trying to.
They mentioned the blue light one more time.
Yeah, it does feel reassuring, but I don't.
Right.
Don't you see the blue light? It's like a Kmart advertisement going on there.
Hey,
Kids, ask your parents about that one. So this whole bit with Agamus, it seems like they're just playing along, including the whole subjugation of a planet.
Oh yeah,
Just to see
I forgot about
when
that. That's right.
when Agamus is going to give it up. Of course, at least Boimler does say, "Yeah, well, it's like, wow, good job." It would take not like it would take the Federation a whole hour to undo this. So apparently, there was no deaths or anything like that. It was just kind of
Yeah,
they gave up really, really
re-engineering.
easily
Yeah,
type of thing going on. But Agamus is like pining for Peanut Hamper. And he doesn't want to be doing these, I've already done the whole subjugation thing. I just want to hang out with you.
yeah.
Because Tendy is able to find out where Peanut Hamper is, and she's actually working with her dad. And so we get to meet Peanut Hamper's dad, Kevin.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Kevin.
just bleep.
Yeah, and it's kind of a sweet moment, and even you get Boimler letting them have that moment together before they cart him back off to prison, where they get a chance to interact with each other. And you have such a lovely station here, sir. Is there anything I can help you with? Anything need watered or fixing or anything like that? So he's now turning as well, because Peanut Hamper has actually changed her ways. She doesn't want to do any of that stuff anymore. She was just agreeing with Agamus because, well, she wanted to hang out with him. And he said, well, I didn't want to do this stuff either. I just want to hang out with you. And so they just kind of have this friendship, this very special friendship with the fathers hanging around. It's like, Dad, nothing's happening. Jeez.
The next time I end up watching that episode with the exocomps, I'm going to have a hard time not laughing. They have totally destroyed that character.
And by the way, that screenshot you got up there, it looks almost like the same room where Geordi was in with the exocomps.
It is. It even has now they're the Tucker tubes.
Yeah.
Right. We have the name for them now, the Tucker tubes.
Yeah.
Because it's not 3 of them. I think there's just 2. So it's the Tucker tubes. There's no additional.
It's not a Billups tubes.
Nope. All right. So that kind of is that.
How did they get to be the Tucker tubes? Oh, I guess that would make sense because they were also on Regular One.
Mm-hmm. But that would have been
That
before.
would have been in the future of Tucker. Okay. Just putting my timeline together for that most useless machine in the universe.
Right.
So things are going relatively well for Boimler and Tendi, but not so much for the Cerritos, which is getting the bejesus kicked out of it.
Yep.
Again, I don't know. Has it been more than once this season? I can't recall, because it seems like every season has to end with the Cerritos being completely destroyed and rebuilt again. But Badgie is now in charge, and he knows all the codes to get through all the security defenses.
Mm-hmm.
He knows all the different patterns of escape attempts, and he's working faster than that to get those counteracted. And he is just knocking the heck out of the Cerritos. So Rutherford decides to sacrifice himself by going over to the ship. Mariner didn't quite get the memo, however, because
she latches onto his ankle and goes with him.
And so, okay, what's the plan? There's no plan.
Yeah.
And then just as they get beamed aboard from space, she rethinks this idea. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
And Badgie is on a tear. Badgie has moved beyond just wanting revenge against his father. Now he wants revenge against everybody.
Yeah.
So he's just going wild. And Rutherford does the only logical thing. He gives Badgie a hug.
Yeah.
Which starts to short circuit him. Looks like it's having.
I was thinking, wow, that's going to wrap up.
And it does work for a moment.
Yeah.
He starts having this, what looks like a nervous breakdown or something, but bifurcates himself into Badgie and Goodgie.
Goodgie.
It took me a minute to figure out where did that name come from, and then I went good and bad. Got it now.
Yeah.
And when it's pointed out to him as he's attacking the Cerritos that it's not logical to do that because he gets no benefit from it, and he kind of relents for a second and then changes his mind again. Now he doesn't want any logic either, so
Yeah.
he bifurcates again, and now we have logic-y.
He look
So
he has
Badgie
that
is gold. Good.
Vulcan look at him like
Yeah, the half open eyes, the
yeah.
laissez-faire thing going on. Badgie is gold, Gucci is silver, and Logic Key is bronze if you're keeping track at home.
Right. You need a scorecard to keep track of the badgies at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but Logic-y was kind of surprised because it seems like Badgie breaks his back or something, and he just
Yeah,
kills
snaps
him.
him in half. Gucci,
Yeah.
Logic Key, no!
So Gucci is saying we should probably get out of here, which is a great idea, but it doesn't work out because Badgie manages to infiltrate subspace, and through subspace, he's able to infiltrate everything. You thought it was bad what was happening in Prodigy
Mhm.
or in Picard. No, Badgie is in everything, everywhere, all at once, and he gets. I don't know how literally to take this, but he gets so big that he's
He ascends.
ascends from the center of the Milky Way.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, wow, we got bigger problems." That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
this is kind of serious at this point. But in true Star Trek fashion, he has an epiphany. He's like, why am I doing all this? What is the meaning behind all of these things? I can exist in the past, in the present, in the future. I see the beginning, the end. I see that, sentient life, organic and digital is all this playing in the same cosmos. And
Mhm.
he decides to just evolve and start his own universe.
Yeah, I'm going off to an empty universe. And
Start over.
and as the portal in the ceiling opens up, there's the koala.
There's the koala waiting for him.
Yeah.
So Badgie is gone, which is a shame because at this point he was actually really, really good, Badgie.
Yeah.
He what it was Mariner said something about it going off to play with Q or something.
Well, he said,
Oh,
yeah, because he said, I might spend some time with Q or visit the Black Mountain,
yeah.
which is where from Starfleet has to go to get regenerated. So I just hope he doesn't run into like V'ger or something in the space he's hoping to
A
have.
whale
his own.
probe.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, the whale probe is an arc, but we don't know where V'ger evolved to another,
Oh, right.
right, to another galaxy or something.
Maybe he'll run into Will Wheaton as the
Maybe so.
traveler.
Maybe so. Now, the part we're kind of left with ambiguous at the end of this, before we get to a reveal, is Rutherford decides to bring Gucci
Yeah.
back to the Cerritos, which no one else seems to know until suddenly, when using the grappler, and I'm sure you all got the throwaway line because they're arguing about their grappler, and Rutherford says, the grappler is stupid.
Yeah.
And it's Boimler and Mariner who say, no, grapplers are cool, which is a direct callback to them having that conversation in the crossover episode where, Noonien Singh also says, no, grapplers are totally cool. See, vindicated. So that was a definite shout out to that episode.
Nice.
So Badgie's all smiley until he has to hook himself into something, and he gets that look on his
He gets
face.
shocked or something.
Yeah.
And it lasts for a couple of seconds. His progress bar fills all the way up, and then he goes, "I'm Gucci."
Yeah.
Everyone else wants to leave the room
Yes.
immediately.
As well they should.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, but poor Boimler can't leave because he's been grappled to the wall. Now, the piece of information that we get, last time around we got the kind of this negotiating with this mysterious ship that's been doing stuff, but we get a big chunk of it here because it turns out that Agamus was not kidding that one of his remotes, drones did get information and found out that the ship is not destroying all these ships. It's taking them away and leaving this false debris in their place. So these ships are disappearing someplace for some reason and not being destroyed. So I figured it was going to be the crew at least, but it turns out no, it's the crew and the ship itself are
Yeah.
gone. So it's not Badgie because we've kind of established that at this point. So we don't know if it's now it leaves out the possibilities that hopefully it's not the Packlids, but
Oh no.
is it
Yeah.
is it an enemy we've seen before or not at this point? I mean, because we're pretty far into the season. Next week is episode 8.
Yeah.
So we're 3 from the end, and we really don't have anything to guide us as a clue as to who might be behind all of this. So it could be a nice surprise or like,
Right.
huh? But there's been no, it's like that detective
Worf.
story where we get no clues. And you said, and the killer is, oh, well, of course I couldn't see that coming because you didn't feed me anything to take a guess.
It's Worf.
No, I don't think.
I'm thinking it's Quark.
Okay, well, that could be, I suppose. So I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts now that we know definitely who it is not? I know we've gone over this before, but we've got some clues now. Somebody's taking the ships away for some reason. We don't know if it's for the crew or for the ship or for both.
It's not the bird people on that one episode.
Yeah.
No.
I was thinking, I don't know. I was trying to, I'm not, I haven't been able to justify this in my head, but if it's something like, V'ger was, cataloging these, remember because they scanned the
Mhm.
Klingons in and stuff like that.
But I don't think they
Uh,
would have cared about leaving, a false trail behind.
No, they didn't before.
Right.
Yeah. I don't
We've
know.
gotten
That
to
was,
the binars. It's like, who else are they going to claim? It's like,
yeah.
we're really digging deep on some of these races now.
Still holding out that I think that Talin's, the ship that she was on before is going to be attacked. Now, they may have enough information at that point to figure out a way to not get abducted. I don't know, because now we're getting that, oh, we know a bit more and a bit more and a bit more about what's going on here. But I still think that's going to happen at some
Yeah.
point. All right, it's time to rate this one. So we're going to begin with you, Craig.
What, 1
Oh,
to
we
10
don't.
badges?
Yeah, yeah, we need more badges. Oh,
No.
and hopefully, I didn't even put this in the notes, but hopefully people realize that the episode title of this one was kind of a call out to a fistful of datas, which was a fistful of
Yeah.
dollars for a few dollars more. Now a few badgies more.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
definitely.
All right. Well, I'm going to give this one 8.5 badges. I
Mm.
thought it was hilarious. I enjoyed it, and especially when the things like little stupid things like you meant they were doing their recreation time and all the robots were just sitting around the equipment, things like that. Badgie was entertaining, especially when he went to ascend. I don't know. I'll say 8.5.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to think of Badgie as a character that's redeemable. And so I'm going to give this one definitely. I think I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with a 9 on this one,
Okay.
because to me, the key thing here was you could leave a lot of loose ends for later, but they managed to, I think, pretty well. I don't feel so much for Peanut Hamper because you don't get to see her her speech before the parole board, I guess it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like for Agamus and for Badgie, you get definitely a catharsis, a reason for this change of heart that happens, and it's something I really wasn't expecting. You just could have these being recurring villains again and again and again, but they said no, we're just going to call it at this point, and we're going to wrap up their stories, except unless Gucci, hangs around, which I don't know. I get a feeling that we may see Gucci again at some point in the future, but I don't think it's going to be that same kind of badgy level of recurrence for that
Right.
character.
Okay.
So I feel like it was a really good way to wrap up 3 villains in the same episode.
Was Agamus reformed though? Because they took him away and locked him up again.
Well, because he had subjugated a planet, he'd kind of
Oh,
and
okay.
he'd escaped. He wasn't
That
he wasn't done serving his time,
Ah.
so he had to go back to
Oh, and
Daystrom.
Peanut Hamper was because she was let out for good behavior or parole
Right.
or whatever it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Right,
was wondering why did he get relocked up and she didn't? Okay.
right.
And
So
getting back to the fistful of Datas thing,
Mhm.
Data is already a plural word.
Oh, God.
I
Don't
take
start.
umbrage
Don't
with that
start.
title.
Yeah, but Data himself is not a plural.
Then why didn't they call him Datum?
Again, we're here all week.
Yeah. Oh,
We
boy.
will be if this keeps up.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the time. My goodness. Let's wrap this
Oh,
up.
yeah. Look at the time.
Goodness, look at the time.
Yeah, that. I'm going to give this one an 8. I thought it had a lot of humorous moments. I thought it sort of, it felt clunky in spots. I just thought the whole Badgie thing, the storyline didn't feel quite right to me. I can't put my thumb on it, but there was something off. So I
Yeah,
give it an
well,
8.
all right. We got some messages in here. Um,
Oh,
Want us to believe Aaron Walke was in the chat at one point, or so that
Yeah.
was. And then we, yes. So listener
Listener
Diane
Diane?
says, "Can it be mud for the?" I was thinking about
in the ship.
mud, but the problem is that he would have to still be alive at this
As-
point.
You have to
And
be ancient at this point.
Yeah. Although the other collector that comes to mind is Kivas Fascio, the guy who collected data, but I think he was destroyed at the end, was he not?
Think so.
He's
we
played
said,
by Saul Rubinek.
well, we saw, well, he was right. He was gone because wasn't when they went on a collector's ship, didn't it have something to do with his ship? Like they were cataloging his ship. I could be wrong about that, but
something. So it could be another collector. Who else was a collector in Star Trek lore? Not lore.
Yeah. Well, he kind of collected things.
and it can't be.
Borg.
Well, I guess at this point it could still be lore at this point, right? Because
Hey,
lore.
Lore was a collector. He collected some Borg. He collected
Could
Oh,
be
yeah.
Borg.
Could be a
Well,
rogue
data.
Borg.
He collected data. Yeah.
Yeah. We also have another follow-up from listener Diane. She went and checked, and the toupee went for $13,750. Exactly,
go.
Eric. You said it.
He thinks the wig is funny.
I do too, actually. So, good stuff. Good stuff.
Why would
All
they
right.
do that? Why wouldn't they just style his hair? Unless his bangs were wrong or something.
Oh, I don't think it's about styling his hair. I think it's having the hair to style. I think that was the issue.
But were we really still worried about that?
It's just that this debate goes on forever. It's like, well, nope, no more debating for this. Nope. Yeah, all done. All done. Ask the person who spent $13,750 and has a certificate of authenticity to go with it.
Yeah.
Of course, so did that person who probably had that visor from Data's visor, and Brent Spider said, "Oh no, I have it. It's at home. That's not it." So
I'd walk up to him and go, "That's the skinniest tribble I've ever seen."
well, it's really weird because the same auction had one of the walking tribbles from the TOS episode, and it was a blonde color. So as you're going through the catalog, it looks like you see either the toupee twice or the tribble twice. They're a couple of screens away from each other.
Funny story. They were the same.
Indeed. True story.
We had to shave a tribble to get the wig.
All right. Enough of that silliness. On to different silliness. We're about time to refill the dilithium chamber and to warp on out of here. We'd like to thank people for watching, and for you, if you're not getting a chance to watch us do the show live, then thank you for listening to us or watching us on YouTube or wherever the feed is available as a video from there as well. But who speaks for you guys this week?
You go ahead, Chuck.
All right. You can find Craig and me over at Technorama Podcast Just do a Google search for Technorama Podcast, and you will find us at chuckchat.com. We do our show on Sunday nights. You can join us live on live stream, just like this one, YouTube and Facebook. Very similar because we're using the same account.
Right. Yeah.
Funny how that works. We cover a lot of nerdy news and fun stories, just not so specific to Star Trek. We try to avoid that so we can save that material for this show.
That's right. Whenever, save it for the show is our mantra. Save it for the show. And you can find me, Clinton, at Comedy Forecast, all one word with the number 4.com. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky and every place, just every place. I'm currently coming towards the end of my big story for 2023.
Yep.
Big shot. Might be delayed by a day or two because doing the show notes for the topic is track took longer than I anticipated, but we will get the next episode out as quickly as possible. Being a fun time, and I think hopefully people are enjoying the show. We've had some revelations in the most recent episode, so if you're
Yes.
listening, catch up.
Oh no! Spoiler alert! I ain't listened to the last one
Whoop,
yet.
whoop. All right.
Here,
Oh.
whoa.
Spoiler alert.
I didn't say what they were. I just said they were things.
Okay.
All right. But now it's time to hit the theme, boys. If you like the show, please be sure to tell a friend about it and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear from you. Follow us on the site formerly known as Twitter at The Topic is Trek. Visit our Facebook page or visit thetopicistrek.com for the show notes. Until next time, on behalf of Chuck, Craig, and myself, I'm Clinton, thanking you for listening. And as we always say here on The Topic is Trek,
Don't
put
put
on
on
the
the red
shirt.
shirt.
Nothing but bad news.
Put on Badgie.
Hi, I'm Red Shirty.
Rich.
No. All right. Okay.
Thank you, listener Diane, for finding out that amount for me.
It took me a minute. I didn't realize she was referring to the toupee.
Hi, I'm Toupee.
Well, I will give him credit, or whoever designed it. It's pretty convincing.
Yep.
Well, it said it came in a Max Factor box. I'm assuming that's the. Well, no, I
What-
think that's who actually
Yeah.
produced it. Was
Well, what about the the rest of his life?
he has other toupees.
He had different hairstyle in Wrath of Khan. It was almost more like mine, very much more curly.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, while doing the research for that thing, I was finding out other things about that, and I guess recently he was spotted coming out of a
Hair club for men.
well, no, it's a place that they specialize in wigs and toupees and doing, I want to say, maintenance on them, but I mean, like anything else, you need to occasionally either reweave them or whatever. So it's to me it's not a big deal. I think it's more of an ego thing that he tends to fluff it off, and it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, have you seen Patrick Stewart? So don't worry about it.
I was going to say, he could have been the first ball captain.
That's right.
Missed the boat on that one.
All right, well, we're going to say goodbye to our live feed.
Yep.
And we will thank you again. Thank you for watching and participating. And we will see you again later.
Live long and prosper.